Multiplying and dividing signed fractions. We have division in the first example or problem, and so we remember to keep, change, flip. So let's go ahead and change these into improper fractions, and then we'll deal with the flipping. So the improper fraction for the first one is 7/4, and it's negative, and I'm going to put the negative on top. And then the improper fraction for 12 1/4, 12 times 4 is 48 plus 1, 49/4. Okay, and that's positive. And so now that we've taken care of that step, we keep the first one just as it is, change the division to multiplication. So we wind up with -7/4 times, and then we flip this last fraction. So we have 4 on the top and 49 on the bottom. Please, guys, cross simplify. Okay, do you see anything we can do? Because you should see two things we can do. The first thing I think is fairly obvious. You got 4 and 4. They essentially cancel out. If you want to think about it as you're dividing both of those by 4, you can, but they both become 1, which is really kind of negligible. We don't really need to worry about a 1 because when we multiply by 1, it really doesn't change anything. Now, the 7 and the 49, that's going to be a really helpful thing to do. So 7 will go into both of those, right? So 49 divided by 7 is 7. And -7 divided by 7 is -1. So look at these numbers that you've got now. You got a -1, +1 on the top, +1 on the bottom, and a 7. So really, it's a very simplified, easy fraction to write. Okay, we move on to B. Let's change these into improper fractions. So this one would be -5/3. And this one would be 3 times 4 is 12. Let's see, 15/4, and it's negative. And then this one we can always just slap a 1 underneath any whole number. And so remember with multiplication, like fractions here, we can actually do it all in one big step if you wanted to. You didn't have to multiply the first two and get that answer, then multiply that answer by the last. You can if you want to. But the beauty of fractions is you can cross simplify like crazy, really. Anything that's on the top can simplify with anything that's on the bottom. So what do you notice? Well, I noticed the 4s, just like the last time we had 4s. These 4s are basically going to go away. 4 divided by 4 is 1, and a -4 divided by 4 is a -1. So that's a -1 on the top and a 1 on the bottom. Anything else you see? Hopefully you notice the 3 and the -15. They can both be divided by 3. 3 divided by 3 is 1. -15 divided by 3 is -5. And I think that's pretty much all we can do. We see a 5 up here and a 5 up here, but they're on the top, both of them. So we can't cross simplify, so we're done. So what's left? Just to do it. -5 times -5 times -1 would be your number. And then all we're left with on the bottom is 1s. We don't even really need to worry about those. Hope this helps.